Part 1. My niece had a severe case of body odor, but my sister-in-law insisted it was a night-blooming jasmine scent, claiming it was great for her health. She absolutely refused to let her get the removal surgery. She even encouraged my niece to do intense workouts, so her armpits would sweat and make the smell stronger. Body odor is just like durian or stinky tofu. It smells bad, but it actually has so many health benefits. As a teacher, I was worried my niece would be ostracized by her classmates, so I strongly urged my brother and sister-in-law to get her the surgery. Eventually, they listened to my advice. After the surgery, my niece no longer had body odor and was just like a normal person, but every time she saw the surgical scars under her arms, my sister-in-law would make passive-aggressive comments. Such a perfect girl. And now she's got 2 ugly scars for no reason. How is she supposed to wear tank tops now? Because of this, my niece resented me. She intentionally dropped something from a high window and crushed me to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day my niece's body odor was first discovered. If you think dealing with body odor is embarrassing, you haven't met a mother who monetizes it. Get ready for a masterclass in toxic parenting. I was reborn and sent back to the day my niece's body odor was first discovered. My niece Qian was hugging her arms, hiding in the corner, looking completely lost and embarrassed. My sister-in-law, lying, grabbed her and pulled her front and center, loudly announcing to the whole family that my niece had body odor. Our Qian is hitting puberty, and she's got her night-blooming jasmine scent. What night-blooming jasmine? My brother flared his nostrils, taking a massive sniff of the air. I don't smell any jasmine, but there is a strong smell of cumin. It almost knocked me over. Lying's face dropped a little, losing face. She told my brother to stop talking nonsense. She told us that night-blooming jasmine was just another name for body odor. She claimed that having night-blooming jasmine meant she was healthier than other kids. She also said that from now on, she was going to make my niece shower less and exercise more to make the smell on her body even stronger. The family looked at each other in stunned silence. Nobody said a word right then. Lying locked eyes with me. Little sister, you're the most educated person in this family. Don't you think I'm right? Her stare made me involuntarily shudder, because I had lived through this exact same scene before. In my past life, Lying had announced Qian's body odor to the family the exact same way. She had no intention of getting my niece treated. She even claimed that the night-blooming jasmine was a sign of health. The whole family thought it was absurd, but no one dared to argue with her. I originally didn't want to get involved, but I noticed Qian in the corner. Her face flushed bright red from sheer humiliation. So speaking from my experience as a middle school teacher, I told them that body odor didn't mean you were healthy. On the contrary, it would seriously impact her life. Especially for a teenager, it would make her insecure and sensitive and even get her isolated by her classmates. Not only was it bad for her physical and mental health, but it would even affect her grades. The moment I mentioned grades, Lying visibly cared. She eventually took my advice and took my niece for a minimally invasive surgery. The surgery was a complete success. It only left 2 tiny incisions under her arms, but Lying always used those 2 scars as an excuse, claiming they were eyesores, and refused to let Qian wear t-shirts. Even in the blistering heat of summer, Qian had to wear long sleeves outside, getting heat stroke and passing out. Every time that happened, Lying would say, "If your aunt hadn't given us that terrible idea. Mom would have let you wear tank tops a long time ago. You wouldn't be suffering like this. Your night-blooming jasmine is gone. That's why your health is so bad now and you keep getting heat stroke." Lying blamed everything on me. Because of this, my niece grew to resent me deeply. When I was walking downstairs to throw away the trash, she pretended to accidentally knock a flower pot off the balcony. The flying shards sliced my artery open. In an instant, blood poured out of me right before my consciousness faded. I saw my niece's face, twisted with absolute venomous hatred, snapping back to the present. I already had a plan forming in my mind. I looked up at Lying and nodded with full approval. "Sister-in-law, you are absolutely right. Night-blooming jasmine is a great thing. Only people with mental issues wouldn't appreciate it." She was incredibly satisfied, instantly deciding to sign Qian up for a badminton class to help her ferment her body odor. I practically wanted to applaud her. The show was about to begin. On the weekend, my mom called me home for dinner. The second I walked in the door, a smell of raw meat mixed with heavy cumin hit me right in the face. I almost gagged. Needless to say, it was definitely the smell coming from Qianqian, and this time it seemed even stronger than before. At the dinner table, Liang spoke with overwhelming excitement. Guess what? That badminton class I signed Qianqian up for, it was originally supposed to be one coach for 3 kids, but it got upgraded straight to one-on-one. I didn't even have to ask to know why. The other kids were disgusted by Qianqian's stench and refused to train with her. The training center, terrified of losing customers, had no choice but to have the coach train her one-on-one. Qianqian still had a shred of self-esteem left. She tugged on her mom's arm, trying to get her to stop talking. Liang rolled her eyes at her and kept bragging, "What are you scared of? Look, thanks to your night-blooming jasmine. We barely spent any money, and we get premium treatment. Whoever can't handle it can just leave. We paid our money too. Why should we have to accommodate them?" Qianqian went silent. I didn't know if she actually bought her mom's logic or if she was just speechless. Liang felt like she had gained a massive advantage. She felt incredibly good about herself. She even posted her victory on social media. Having a night-blooming jasmine in the house means my daughter gets VIP treatment everywhere she goes. She attached a photo of Qianqian in her sports gear swinging a badminton racket. I was incredibly thankful no one had invented a phone that could transmit smells yet otherwise. That photo would have literally made my eyes water. I liked the post and commented, "Qianqian has a natural advantage. Other people just have to make way for her. She never has to make way for anyone." My words hit Liang's sweet spot. She immediately replied with several smug emojis. The badminton class incident gave Liang a taste of the benefits. As long as she unleashed the ultimate weapon of body odor, she could save a ton of money. I heard from my mom that Liang was frequently buying cheap, in-season clothes at the mall now, because once Qianqian tried on a piece of clothing, no one else could possibly wear it. If the store owners asked Liang to pay for the damages, she would throw a massive tantrum right in the middle of the store. She'd play the victim, claiming they didn't put up a sign saying customers with body odor couldn't try on clothes. She constantly accused the store owners of discriminating against their customers to avoid ruining their business. The owners had no choice but to swallow the loss. They sold her the brand new in-season clothes at a massive discount, basically giving them away for free. From then on, whenever Liang saw clothes she liked, she would make Qianqian try them on. Then she used the exact same method to force the store to sell them to her at a steep discount. Honestly, if my brother wasn't a grown man, she probably would have saved money on his clothes too. At first, Qianqian felt a little embarrassed about it, but she couldn't resist her mother's constant encouragement. Plus, the money they saved turned into cakes and fried chicken that went straight into Qianqian's stomach. She stopped resisting. She even started actively cooperating. Qianqian tilted her greasy, food-stained face up and bragged to me, "Auntie, you have no idea. The feeling of everyone stepping aside for you wherever you go is just too good." I sneered internally, but kept my face totally blank. Covered in a foul stench, but feeling incredibly good about herself, I figured only she was capable of doing something like that. I held my breath, silently took a step back, and praised her. Our Qianqian is such a clever little genius. Liang wasn't satisfied with just scoring cheap clothes. She wanted to use the body odor situation to reap even more benefits. I suggested she become a parenting vlogger. I even volunteered to help her brainstorm a name and brand positioning. The account would be called Night Blooming Jasmine. She would introduce herself as a millennial mom, documenting the daily life of her daughter with body odor. Mom blogger, body odor, parenting. These highly controversial topics were all gathered in one place. It would be hard for Liang not to get hate comments, watching her register the new account. I pretended to look worried and spoke up, but sister-in-law, you know what kind of people are on the internet. I'm really worried some people might get jealous that Qianqian has her night blooming jasmine, and seeing us get special treatment might make them upset. Liang looked completely unbothered. I gotta say, you teachers just lack vision. Anyone who plays the internet game, how many of them don't get hate? Getting hate just proves I'm actually famous now. Besides, they only hate me because they're triggered. So I'm just going to keep pushing their buttons. I nodded in agreement. Being this stubborn was perfect. The internet could curse her out, and she would self-reflect. Instead, she would double down on believing she was right. Only then could the conflict keep escalating. I told Lying to post more of Qianqian's daily life, as preferably showing her face a lot. That way the internet's rage would have a specific target. At first, Lying's account didn't get much traction until one day she posted a specific video. In the video, Qianqian first scratched her armpits, smelled her own fingers, and showed a look of absolute intoxication. Then, she shoved her hand right into a cat's face. The little cat eagerly trotted over to sniff, but instantly turned away and gagged. In the video, not only was Qianqian unapologetic, she was laughing so hard she was bent over. This stupid cat doesn't know what's good for it. It has no idea what night blooming jasmine is. That video got millions of views. A ton of people commented underneath, "What did that poor cat do to deserve that?" I just want to say, I have the freedom to discriminate against body odor. Pausing my shift at work. I need to go beat some sense into this brat. Lying held up her phone, specifically making me read through her comment section. I told you. These people are just jealous. Hating what they don't have. She replied to the comments, telling them not to be too jealous. She said if they wanted to have the night blooming jasmine too, they just had to wire her $50. And she would send them one of Qianqian's worn shirts. To my surprise, some people actually took her up on it. People with certain bizarre fetishes bought Qianqian's unwashed clothes. Lying had absolutely no idea how serious the situation was. She bragged to everyone she met that Qianqian was her cash cow. Because of this, Qianqian became a local celebrity. Whenever Lying took her out, people would always point and whisper behind their backs. But she didn't feel embarrassed at all. I'm basically a local influencer. It's completely normal for people to talk about me. If you think junior high is tough, try starting it as a viral sensation known for smelling terrible. Part 2 is where the social isolation begins.